Welcome everybody to BeamNG.drive, and today we're taking a look at the Ibishu Pessima 2 litre LX. This was made between 1988 and 1991, so a fair bit older than the newer version of the Pessima that we've already reviewed. And yeah, this has 132 horsepower, 133 pounds-feet of torque from a 2 litre double overhead cam inline 4 engine. Weighs 2,888 pounds, is front wheel drive, automatic gearbox, and has improved hubcaps over the lesser version of this. And it can do 0 to 60 in 9.6 seconds, 0 to 126.4 seconds, and going to a reasonable top speed of 120 miles an hour. So yeah, as per usual, we're going to go around the suspension area of this grid map and see how much punishment it can take before it breaks. Then we'll go on to the other side of the grid map where we'll roll it over a few times, blow it up and put it through a wall. So yeah, let's see what it can do. Now, we've not had many front wheel drive cars on this game, but they have overall surprised me in terms of how durable they have been, so hopefully this will be no different. Giving it a fair bit of a punishment to start with. Really, that's done any real damage at all, to be honest. The bumper's rippled a little bit and the bonnet is curled slightly, but not much. Now we are. There's the oil pan gone, so we're going to overheat at some point. Suspension is holding up fine. Let's go on the wavy boards. Up and down, up and down. Oh, it is hard to keep cars on here. Dealt with that okay. Oh, we've lost one of our nice hubcaps. Come on, maintain the speed. It needs speed on here. Yeah, that's fine. This car's pretty damn tough apart from the oil pan. Let's see if it can deal with this. Well, the exhaust has gone already. So now it's just a far louder car. Oh, there goes another hubcap. Well, we're definitely slowing down because of the oil pan damage. It looks like the chassis has bowed a little bit. We're running out of power. We're gonna die. We're gonna die, I think. We're dying. We're dying. The engine's gonna go any second. And there it goes. So yeah, at the end of the day, the oil pan is what killed us there. Because the rest of the car seems to have held up reasonably well. There is a little bit of chassis damage, or maybe it's just the door that has bent a bit there, but on the whole, that has dealt with it fine. It's just, you know, the oil pan is now a thing that gets damaged, and that can cripple the car quite quickly. But regardless, yeah, I dealt with that fine. So, yeah. But I think I'm only going to give it a half a point, because at the end of the day, the oil pan is quite a vital aspect. And and a lot of cars haven't actually died from that, so Yeah, I'm going to give it half a point because the rest of the car was fine, but yeah, the oil pan going is not a ideal situation. So let's get onto the ramp and see how well it does with 3 rollovers. So yeah, these are going to be consecutive rollovers, and yeah, it's got to survive all of them, not just in terms of being able to drive, but also in terms of passenger safety. So yeah, let's see. So probably roll quite good. Or not, just the one, which it dealt with fine, because it didn't really come down on any part of the car outside of the front end. So that's a perfect first go. Pretty much, it has bent the wheels a little bit, so it's pulling to the left a fair bit. But that's a minor flaw, considering what it's just done. Bit more damage to the roof this time. Going over for another roll. And another. Going over for several, to be honest. Whee! It's great to see that. Even more so when it's holding up. And there goes the boot. So luggage would fly around, but the people inside would not be, and certainly wouldn't be getting crushed either. Let's turn the engine off so we don't kill the engine. Yeah, I have to say I'm really rather impressed by how well that's dealt with everything so far. Yes, we've taken bodywork damage, but the roof overall has held up. The car still just about drives, though again it is pulling quite severely into the left-hand direction. But we're still able to get up on the ramp and everything, so that's fine. Right, let's see if we can survive this one last go before we blow it up and put it through a wall. Oh, and just the one rollover this time. That's surprising. Maybe we've lost a bit of suspension which has stopped it from bouncing upwards, but regardless, that's passed with flying colours. That's easily one of the best cars that we've had on that test, because as you can see, yeah, the camera has moved out, but that's just the camera. It's, yeah, as you can see, there's still plenty of headroom for everyone inside. So yeah, that is practically perfect. So yeah, obviously the wheels have bent up, so it's not going to be the best driving vehicle, but it still does drive, still does get up to speed, as you can see. So yeah, mechanically not the soundest, but passenger safety wise it's perfect. So yeah, on the whole I would say that's a pass. So let's see what happens when we crash into these barrels at hopefully 60 miles an hour, if we can get up there, which we should do. Big bada boom. Oh! Well, the engine has fallen out and broken, inevitably. So this isn't going to be a car that's going to drive anywhere, but will it be a safe car outside of that? All depends how it comes down on its when it lands. Oh, right on the rear. But again, yes, the mechanics of the car have taken damage, but the rest of the car has survived that nicely. The camera hasn't broken this time, so it's, yeah, even more evident that everything is pretty much alright inside. just, you know, you wouldn't be able to drive it anywhere, but that's a price to pay if it means that you're safe. So yeah, now let's see what happens at 60 into the cinder block wall. That is fine, absolutely perfect. Yeah, no real complaints there at all. Yes, the radiator has taken damage and the bodywork has obviously taken a hit, but again, no intrusion inside really. And yeah, the roof is still fine, and everyone else inside will be fine. So yeah, that's a 3.5 for the Pessima here to start with. So that is a good strong start to this review. So let's get on to the crash haul and see how this deals with a small overlap crash test at 30, 40 and 60 miles an hour. Right, so here we are at the crash haul. So it was a car that was quite strong in all of the tests pretty much on the grid map. So will that translate to this crash test, which is admittedly a bit more of a realistic scenario than what we've done before. But yeah, let's see if it exposes any of its flaws. 30 mile an hour has typically been a breeze for most cars, so I expect no real difference for this one. Yep, that's fine. You can see where the crumple zone is starting and ending, which is perfect. And yeah, the doors haven't warped, the roof hasn't warped, and yeah, interior wise, perfect. So it's like new, to be honest. So yeah, that's a pass. So we're now up to 4.5 out of 10 for this car. So let's see what happens at 40. Go. Big crash bang wallop, but is it going to be a safe one? Oh, yeah, some of the flaws are now being exposed in the car's weaknesses, or in design even. But overall, that is still fine. Yes, the door has started to go and the roof has started to go up as well, but inside, again, pretty much the same as last time. I think the steering wheel might have moved slightly forwards, but not by all that much at all, and you can still see that there's a massive amount of gap between where the driver would be and the steering wheel. So yeah, definitely taking more damage though. One of the wheels is broken, and yeah, the car overall looks worse for it, but that is still a safe crash. So let's see about 60. Can it get 3 for free? I'm not expecting it to be honest, because a lot of more modern cars haven't done 60, so can't entirely be confident about a car of this age doing it. Yeah, that's a fail. To be expected, to be honest. It is quite an old car, you know, it's 30 years even at its newest age, so yeah, but still, those two first impacts were fine. But that inevitably wasn't great at all. As you can see, the steering wheel is right up to the seat, the door's bowed outwards, the roof has gone right up. The rest of the people inside might well be fine, but the driver certainly would not have been. So yeah, that's a fail, but still, we're now up to 5.5 out of 10, so we're at least better than average. So yeah, let's see if it can do any better on the highway, where we'll go up against two similar sized and weighted vehicles at 60 mile an hour, and then one that really isn't. So here we are at the highway, and yeah, we're going to go up against the Sunburst at 60 mile an hour in a head-on collision first, because it's only 11 pounds heavier than we are, and yeah, it's kind of the modern version of this, to be honest. So yeah, let's see what happens. Obviously the Sunburst is a newer car, so it should perform better than us, but we're all only interested in how we perform. Oh, that's not particularly good, to be honest. I was expecting better. Again, it is at the same speeds as the overlap test, so... well, the last one anyway, and that's where it failed before, so... I guess it should be no surprise, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to give that a pass at all, unfortunately, so... yeah, that's not a good start. So let's see how it deals with a car that's going to be slightly lighter than it. Since the Sunburst was slightly heavier. Don't go any further forward. Right. Now we play the game of find the car that is slightly lighter than we are. Is there a Miramar any good? Any less? Yeah, significantly so though. How's a limo lighter than a saloon version? That makes no sense. Or even the V8 version. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that makes no sense at all. What to pick? Ooh, an Ibishu 200BX. Yeah, that's about the kind of weight that we are. It's 176 pounds less. That might well be the closest we're going to get, but I'll come back to that if we can't find anything immediately. Surprisingly, the Cherry are heavier. Unexpectedly, the van is heavier. I say sarcastically. Yeah, I think the 200BX is going to be the closest we're going to get, to be honest. Pretty sure a Legrand is quite a bit heavier, yeah. We'll go with the BX. I know it's quite a bit lighter than we are, but it's the closest we're going to get in terms of being slightly lighter. So let's see what happens. Pretty much head on. Actually, I want that actually head on, I do apologise. It looked like it was going to get the same result as the Sunburst, and maybe it didn't because we weren't 100% head on. We were in about 90%, so it wasn't massively far off, but it's enough to throw up any flaws in what's happening. That's better. Yeah, that's pretty much as bad as the Sunburst, to be honest. BX has done well, but we have not. Yeah, that's a fail. Undoubtedly, so yeah, we're not doing very well here. Most cars do at least get one impact in that's decent, but that's just not the case here, unfortunately. The BX still moves as well, unsurprisingly, given its rear-wheel drive, whereas we, yeah, do not. So yeah, that's another fail, unfortunately. So let's see what happens when we're going up against a vehicle that is far heavier than we are, and I'm thinking thousands of pounds heavier, just to see what happens. Over Roma. So this is about £2,500 more. That is £3,000 near enough. Yeah, near enough more. We'll go with the police package then. Into death we go. This is gonna be bad. But fun. Bad but fun. To death we go. Yeah, that bull bar's just pretty much just cut through the car. Although, to be fair, it doesn't look much worse than the previous two, if we're being honest. Obviously, the Roma has gotten away with that fine. It's only taken damage to the mechanicals, whereas we have once again been squished pretty much entirely. But you have to say, that's not done as much damage, any more damage really than the previous two. Maybe because the bull bar on the Roma hit the engine, because it looked like it was quite high up. Maybe that dissipated some of the energy. But yeah, that's not any worse than the previous two, but it's still nonetheless not a pass. So yeah, sadly, despite a strong start at the grid map and doing 2 out of 3 on the crash haul really rather well, it's a complete average failure at the highway, which means it's an average failure overall. So yeah, that is a shame, but that's just the way it is. Not every car's going to be perfect in every regard, and yeah, sadly this is not a good car in terms of head-on collisions. But small overlap crash tests at 1340 it sustains rollovers really nicely, or survives rollovers nicely, and yeah, going through brick walls, just dealing with explosions, and mostly in terms of suspension it's fine as well. So even though it's got an average score, it's still a really rather decent car. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.